Welcome to this fantastic webinar. So we'll start off with the introduction. So I welcome you all to the webinar, Entrepreneurship and Innovation as Career Opportunity. So this is going to be an interesting topic. So first of all, we'll start with the introduction of some, of our college. So the Shadan College of Engineering and Technology was founded in the year 1995. So we have completed 25 years in the year 2020. So this is a big feat from our college. It was founded by our, chief chairman, Dr. V.R. Kesar. So it is because of his hardships and hard works that we are here organizing this event. First of all, I'll start by thanking our chairman, Mr. Shah Alam Rasul Khan, and our principal, Dr. Atikur Rahman, and our chairmen, Professor S. A. Muneem and Dr. B. Srinivas, for allowing us to proceed with this webinar. And also like to thank the board committee members of the SCET IIC, the chairman, Dr. R. Jyoti Kumar, and our vice chairman, Dr. Muhammad Ilyas, and the convener, Dr. Nasib Khan. Being the student president of SCET IIC, I welcome you all once again. So first we'll start with some introduction of the speaker, the esteemed speaker today. I am very privileged to introduce you, Mr. Saad Ahmed Sharif, the founder and CEO of Detont Technologies. The company was founded in the year 2016, and it is a software-based company which has its branch here in India as well as in Qatar. The speaker is joining us here from the city of Qatar. So that is going to be an interesting thing to hear his history. He has completed his BTech from Computer Science Department in the year 2010. So he's in the market. He's in the startup world from 10 years. So that's a whole decade. So welcome, Mr. Saad. Over to you.
This call is now being recorded.
Thank you, Seth, for the warm welcome. Before I begin, I would like to thank definitely the Shadan College of Engineering and Technology, and I think Dr. Kumar and Dr. Ilyas and Dr. Nasib Khan with me over here. And thank you so much for encouraging entrepreneurship in students. And sorry to students to have a webinar on a Monday morning. And I'm pretty sure with the topic of entrepreneurship and innovation, this is not something which used to happen in our times, that you come and we'll give you attendance. So this is something which I am expecting the students have come with their own will to join in. Right? So when we are talking about career and innovation and entrepreneurship, right? When I came to know about this topic, this seems to be a pretty interesting topic. And this topic was something which we didn't even had any discussions of this sort during about a decade back, right? When we were in engineering about, I think, 14 years back now. So see, the thing of careers, especially I'm directly jumping into the topic right now, and let's get started. I think we have a good number of attendees over here. So when we are talking about the career, right, especially in our education system, in our diaspora, what happens with the career is it's a very theoretical approach that we have with the career, right? It's very rare that we are able to see any logical steps being taken to pursue someone's career, right? One is maximum of the time is a very theoretical approach of what has been done by his elders or by his senior colleagues or by his professors. He's able to pursue that without taking into consideration his passion, his interest, and his motivation for it. And any college, for the matter of fact, not only Shadan, any college that you take, especially the engineering batch, engineering division that we have, is what you have majorly three kind of students that you can divide. And you can go to any college and you will find these three kind of students. First are those set, especially to the third year and the fourth year students. First are those set who are planning to pursue their masters. So they are always looking for GRE and institutions, looking for universities in US and Australia. And then the second set of students that we have are the people who have got some kind of relative in the Middle East who will either call them or refer them. You complete your engineering, you do your certification, and then my uncle or my somebody will place me in Middle East. And the third set are the people who are looking for jobs. They reach out to recruitment agencies, they apply to the companies, to the MNCs that they know of. And in this third division, you will find one set of people who are trying to prepare for the civil services. Right. So these are the three standard, major standards that we have when people pursue post engineering. However, because of people like and the colleges like Shadan who are now encouraging entrepreneurship, who are encouraging innovation, there is a new sect of students that are coming out of colleges who wants to do something on their own, who wants to build something on their own and build the businesses on top of it. So how does this innovation comes into the picture especially when you are looking at a career, right? What's the difference between a non-career innovation entrepreneurship and career as an entrepreneurship, right? So when you take it as a career, you are changing it from a hobby to your business. You can have lot of hobbies and you can make some money out of it, but to make it a business, that's when you take entrepreneurship full time and then you pursue in terms of a career. Right. So how does innovation comes in, and where does this innovation comes in? What is the seed of innovation? Right? The seed of innovation that usually happens is when you have a different thought process or different way of looking at problems. Right. So you have a lot of problem statements, especially when you are a student and in a college. Almost I think 8 out of 10 students have complaints about the colleges, regardless of the college. They might be studying in the Harvard, they might be studying in MIT, they might be studying in IITs in India. They still have some of the other problems, right? So to look at these problems and find a solution for it, right? That's where the innovation happens. Now let's say since we are discussing this in the Hyderabadi culture, let's bring in the biryani thing, right? Let's say you want to order biryani, right? And you say, okay, I'm leaving from office right now, I'm leaving from college right now, I'll take a biryani from Shahos or Paradise or Pista House or XYZ, and I'll go home. And then you will like, no man, Shahos will take 30-40 minutes for me because it's very crowded. That's one way to look at it. The other way is, when it is overcrowded, why don't I have an advanced booking system wherein I just go, I'll have a vending machine in showers, this will generate the QR, payment is already done, I'll scan the QR, the vending machine will give me the biryani. So this is an idea that you get. So when you look at the problem in a different manner or from a different perspective, you come out with the solutions, right? So the innovation, the first step of innovation is finding a solution to your problem statements. And trust me, the more problems that you're able to see, that's the more gold that you're able to find. Okay, there is a lot of gold hidden behind each problem statement, provided that you are able to come up with an innovative process, innovative product, innovative way of solving that problem. That's where the gold lies, right? And once this idea that comes into your picture, that's when you start building on top of it. That's when you start brainstorming. That's when you start thinking about it, discussing about it, reading more about it, researching about it, and then that grows into your passion. From a hobby, when you start full-time career, discussing about it, reading more about it, researching about it. Now my career grows into post-engineering. What I did definitely, I was amongst one of the major lots. I was no different than others. I started applying for jobs. And then I was in Mumbai back then. My family was in Mumbai back then, and I applied for a job in Juhu. And it was a very small company. It had about like 3 employees back then when I joined. Right, I joined them as a web developer, and it was a startup. At that moment of time, I didn't exactly knew what a startup was. Right, and it was I felt like I was working for a small company, and I think to this day I have it's been about 15 years, I think, or 12 years being in that company. I still think that was the best learning experience that I had. I joined as a web developer, and in 3-4 months, I was promoted to the assistant vice president. I was serving as the AVP. Then I was looking after the UAE and the US. In 2010, Obama had launched a budget for the electronic health record. So we were building something which we felt at the time was much ahead of our times, and we were building an electronic health record. So what happens is, when we are talking about career as an entrepreneurship or as an innovation, it is not mandatory that everybody has got an awesome product. So many a times what can happen is you can have multiple companies joining in together and forming a better idea or collaborative idea. It's not mandatory. Like, let's say if some of your friend, Mr. X, has an amazing idea and he's working on it, Y can join to it, right? Even they can co-found this idea and co-work on this idea. And like, the age that you are in and the time that you are in, it is, the risk is very minimal, right? So it is, I would super encourage you guys to pursue in this line of innovation and entrepreneurship, right? So once you have this idea, once you have the problem statement, then you start researching about the market and then the market analysis, right? So there is no, again, as I said, this is not very theoretical. You have to carve your own way, right? Something that worked for my company might not work for your idea. Something that worked for Apple will not work for Tesla, right? Getting my point? So this is the way, and entrepreneurship is the way of exploring things. You are exploring the market, you are exploring yourself, you are exploring your company, you are trying to raise investments, you're trying to hire the best of the best lot, you're trying to hire people smarter than you, you're trying to manage those teams, right? So all these things, and then you're building your product, and then you're selling your product, right? And then definitely you want to build a product that should sell itself, right? So you want to reach that epitome, of the product, or the best UX and the best UI. You're spending time, and many a times what these things, when things like these happen, right? When you want to have, when you are planning this thing, when you have a new idea and you're working on it, you have to do a lot of research on it. You have to make a team on it, right? So there are, now in India, like, you have day in day out, you have events that you can go to. You can pitch to. You can, just a second, sorry. So you can have competitions inside your college, to pitch your ideas. So see, the first thing why people don't pursue entrepreneurship as a career, is, I think to make it more interactive, I will do one thing. The best way is, I will ask a question to you guys. When you are looking for your career choice, so when you are going for your career choice, what is the most important thing? Top most important thing when you are making a career choice? If you could answer the text messages or voice. Let's make it interactive.
Perfect studies, sir. Studies perfect. Higher studies.
Okay.
Higher studies.
Knowledge, sir, knowledge.
Okay, so basically you want to take a career option that increases your knowledge. Okay, good. Any more?
Skills, sir. Skills.
Sir,
So you want to
practical skills, sir. Experience.
Okay, so you want to have your career choice to enhance your experience.
Satisfaction is more important, sir.
Okay, so you want to go for your career because you want some kind of a satisfaction, right? So nobody wants to go to a career because they don't want money. Everybody is
money, making money.
Paisa only, sir. Paisa only. Khali paisa.
Making money.
Perfect, right?
Sir,
So
first of all, if we gain experience, then money will come towards us. We will not go to money.
right. So see, like, the answers that I get usually is, this is, you have your people who are pursuing a career because definitely they want to get paid. They have studied for about 21 years of their life, and this is the time when they want to pursue a career that gives them a good ROI. They return on their investments, on the time and the money they have invested, and the time, the experience, the skill set they have gained over the years. Now they want to make money out of it, right? So that's where the your career choices comes in. Let's say if you are being hired by company A and company B, and company A pays you more, but company B has got a good reputation. So that's where what you will choose.
B, sir. Obviously.
Sir, B, obviously B, sir.
And paying you less. A is a big company and paying you a good amount. What will you opt for?
I'll go with A, sir.
I'll go with B.
B, sir, B. Sir, I will go with B, sir.
Right.
Depend on the situation, sir.
Right.
Money is not everything, right?
Depending upon situation, what we must.
So, the people who have answered B are more, inclined to pursue their entrepreneurial careers, right? It's not totally true, because people like in Microsoft, or they have left Google, and they have come up with amazing ideas, and they have done some really good startups. Right? People have worked for Flipkart, and then they left Flipkart and they founded their own companies. Right. So in this manner, what you have to do is you have to back your decisions. Right. So when you are making a decision, especially for the career, right, always back your decisions with the data that you have, right? And especially during these days of engineering, you have a lot of things that at least that I could remember of is networking बहुत सारा भाई networking कर लेंगे I'm like, the hardware networking, Zoom technologies were doing pretty good back then. Networking कर लेंगे, hardly there were people going for programming, right? So there was no data to back it up, that because somebody's brother was staying in Gulf and he had informed that networking is good. He informed in his college, and then the message went out in our college at least that networking is good. And then at least 20-25 students from our class alone had joined the institute to get the networking certification, having no idea of what networking is, of on how the career will be. Are they really passionate to do this for at least 10 years in their lifetime, like down the line? So when you are making career, definitely you have to make wise choices to understand what you are getting into, and that is what will differentiate entrepreneurship, right? And see, entrepreneurship, yes, it pays you good, it pays you really good, but it comes with a lot of baggage. And the biggest motivation in entrepreneurship, trust me, is not about money. It's about building your product and looking at the people using your product, and that is the biggest achievement that you will feel. I will share an instance. I was working in Dubai, I think 2012, and I had built a automatic parking system, right? So we had this valet gates that you get, right? So people do the valet parking. So this is an automated parking system wherein the camera has got ANPR, automatic number plate recognition system, wherein it will recognize the car belongs to a particular property, particular building. So the gate will open up and the driver is able to park the car. Now, this system was being used in about 80 to 90 clients back in UAE, and one of those clients was Mall of Emirates, right? So when I was, with my friend, and he had come from Hyderabad, and he was on a job search in Dubai. I was standing with him near the Mall of Emirates, and I didn't realize we are standing near the parking. And then I saw this terminal, and I saw that when the gate opens up, my code is running and executing, and the gate opens up. And I said to him, this is my code which is being executed. And trust me, that kind of happiness that you get, that you had built something, it's definitely, I'm telling you, it's not about money. It's about when you look at things that you have built something and you have solved a problem, and there are companies who are using it and they have got good experience about it. And when the experience goes to a level that they start recommending your product to others, that's where you hit the benchmark that your product is doing really good. Right. So even before getting into this product development stage, there's a lot of research that you have to do. There's a lot of thought process that you have to work upon in solving the problems. Now, there is a lot of times that I have said that you need to change your thought process. So one easy way to work on this is to learn to code. Right. So I'm not saying to get into C, Java. Get into the basics of programming, very basics of programming. This is like, why do they teach you mathematics, right? The skill set of mathematics, right? This will give you a lot of logical thinking. Similarly, when you learn to code, I'm not asking you go and build amazing applications, no, but just get the basic knowledge of how programming works, how the code works. Because once you are able to understand how the code works, how you are able to write the code and stuff, that's where your thought process and your style of looking at problems will be completely different. Once you get into that area of looking at the problems from the programmer's perspective, that you have a problem and then how you can solve it logically, point by point, step by step. So that's where that would help you a lot in your entrepreneur journey. And in this journey, every day, now and then, is about your decision makings. Right? You will have different kind of options in front of you, wherein you have to take different decisions accordingly, and you have to take that decision then and there, right? About, let's say, if there is a investment proposal for your company, if you are just having a dinner with somebody and some in the conversation a new decision comes up, and then you have to take the decision because definitely you're the founder. So what do you do at this moment of time? So that's where your decision making skills will be enhanced when you get, when you start learning programming. I'm not promoting programming because I'm from the CSC, but this is quite natural. There is also been things being said that the code is the new mathematics. So having said that, I think the career, I think a lot of your questions might have been clear about pursuing entrepreneurship. So now I'll just get into on very tangible ways of how you can proceed. See, there are multiple ways. One thing is either you have a family business which you want to take it to the places you want to explore it to further geography. Let's say you have a
मेरे
family
दिल की ये दुआ है.
let's say sorry let's say if you have a business in Hyderabad and you want to promote it, to take it to Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and you can do that. Or if you want to build something on your own, you want to start from scratch, then you have a lot of incubation centers that are there in Hyderabad right now. And one that I could think of right now on top of my head is definitely the Adventure Park. Brother Miraj, the CEO of Adventure, has been really a good friend of mine, brother of mine, guide of mine. Although I started my journey back in 2014, I started set up a company in Dubai. Development center was in India. And then 2016 and 17, I was more focused in the Indian market. And that's when I met him. And he's an amazing chap. He's an amazing guy, to reach out to. And there are a lot of other incubation centers as well that you can focus on. But I think Adventure Park is one. I am not pretty sure if there are any other student incubation centers, but Adventure Park is one which is doing pretty good, and they have got amazing results in the last cohort. So similarly, because what will happen is this thing will help you out in planning your journey. This will help you save your time. Yes, you will be able to reach from point A to point B maybe in 5 years. But if you have a good mentor, if you have a good incubation center who is guiding you, who is assisting you, who is helping you, not financially, but in terms of solving your business processes, driving or extracting the value proposition out of your product. So these things will help you reach the 5-year journey will be reduced to, let's say, about 10 months. Right? So having a good mentor and a good environment, good incubation center helps a lot for your entrepreneurial journey. And since you are in college right now, and then your studies will be I think one of you have said that studies will be affected. See, your engineering per se is very logical and research oriented field that you have, right? The first thing is, I think what they should do is ban the all-in-ones and ban these things, right? Because it is, engineering in itself is designed to be very research oriented. It's designed to make you the doctors of your fields. Right, a doctor of a human body cannot just memorize that, okay, crocin for headache. No, he cannot do that, right? He has to logically understand why crocin is given for so and so thing. Similarly, an engineer has to understand what happens behind a circuit, right? And why this is reacting in this fashion? Why is this signal going out? Why is this happening? If he's in CSC, why this line of code is doing this? What is happening behind in the compiler? So this is what exactly is engineering all about. This is about understanding things. And
sir, what is the difference between that studying in the engineering colleges and studying in the IITs? What is the main difference we'll get? It will be also research oriented, or here it will be. What is the main scenario in between the two?
Between IIT and your engineering college, you mean?
Yes.
IIT, I would say the major difference for an IITian and an engineering student is an IITian has or IIT is more research focused. See, IIT is not the end goal or it's not the gold standard for engineering, but they have been in this domain for a very long time, and they are very research intensive, and then they have to reach the targets, they have the goals, the methodology of studies, and definitely that differs from what we have in regular engineering colleges. And I'm my apologies if things have changed in our colleges right now, but at least I'm speaking on the behalf that what I have experienced in the past decade or so. Okay, so I think this is good enough. So that let's make it more interactive. I have spoken a lot on a Monday morning. Now let you guys. I'll let you guys ask me questions. Drop me a text on this Google Meet, or if you want to just unmute and ask me any question. Please feel free.
Sir, what should we have to practice before entering in CSC field? Practically, sir.
So you mean getting in the computer science field of computer science as a career, or?
Yeah, sir, I'm not in a career.
Okay, so like if you are looking as a career in computer science, it's a very diverse thing to say from the computer science. But if you are looking specifically into programming, then I would say two things: algorithms and data structures are very important for you to get a knack of how your career will be in terms of programming. And again, as I said, I'm like in current times, if you're looking for a career, is if you are in your third and fourth year, I would strongly recommend you to start your own, get into entrepreneurship. Even if you're not taking it as a career, think of a problem statement, think of a solution that you have, and try to solve it. If you're from the computer science, try writing a code for it, or write a small applet, small API that can be used. Build something that you can see, and end to end, right? End to end, like from the user research to the I think from your creating your business model canvas, understanding what is value propositions, and then you drawing the wireframes, and then building your product, testing your product, deploying your product, and have some test users, some real users. So I think this question was asked by Hamza. So Hamza, this is the thing that will help you a lot in your career as well. If you go to company and you said that this is what you had built over the time during your engineering, that will give you a lot of brownie points than your 80% in your engineering. If you score 90% in your engineering, but you build a product, building a product is much better.
So should we work with freelancers like this website, or can we just gain some kind of experience from this website which will help us in our later career or not, sir?
I am unable to exactly get your question, but if you plan to hire freelancers to do this, I would strongly not recommend you to do it, and do it on your own. And since you are already into the engineering, if you are from the computer science, then you should do it on your own. There are a lot of tools available. There's a new plethora of ideas that are coming up with the no-code tools. Right, so you can use those tools as well to build your websites. Even better if you're in computer science, start writing the code.
Experience to gain how to code, how to introduce coding. We can just take part-time partnership with freelancers and just gain experience. Can we, sir?
No, you see, like you don't have to partner with freelancers to gain experience. Like if you have a laptop, that's it. That is all what you want to start coding, right? So first, look at some research about what you want to build. And for which what language you have to go through. Either you can opt for, JavaScript is doing very good nowadays. You can get a hang of JavaScript and then move on to its frameworks and libraries. You can go for React, you can go for AngularJS and stuff. And once you get a hang of it, and then you feel that okay, you need somebody as a guidance or as an assistance, then you can reach out to websites like Stack Overflow. The audience is pretty good to help you out for free. they will answer, and they have got really good experienced people, and they answer it for free. It's totally free. Use Stack Overflow. Use Stack Overflow.
Websites. So that I will just write it. Can you just?
But sir, I think we should have a proper platform to perform our practical idea.
You can create a profile if you are from computer science. You can create a profile on GitHub. That is best.
Sir, how to become a successful engineer in civil, sir? Civil field.
So civil engineering that I have recently read about is going through major innovations in the civil engineering, right? With automated buildings, and there's a lot of happening in the PropTech space, right? In the property
Sir,
technology.
which engineering have more scope, sir? Which engineering have more scope? CAC, IT, EEE, EC, metallurgical, mining.
That question doesn't have a proper this thing, is because it's totally on you on how you do it. So let me just answer Mr. Hasnain's question on civil engineering, and then I'll come back to this because this is a short question. I would not differentiate much between the engineering. It's on how skillful you are, and that matters a lot. But coming back to Hasnain's question, there's a lot that is happening in civil engineering space. Right, you can look at automated buildings. There's a lot of happening with BMS and that's building management systems. Right, things have gone way further than AutoCAD. Things have gone way further than the earlier civil days. So please try to upgrade, because that's civil engineering is one field where time and again I meet students who say that the innovation is happening in technology but not in civil engineering. No, civil engineering is innovating at a very high pace. So look at the latest advancements that are happening in civil space, and then learn more about it, start building something about it, and inshallah you will do good.
Sir, how to think as a civil
Sir,
engineer?
according to current
How to plan
scenario,
our-
should we go for higher studies or start searching job direct after BTech in civil engineering?
See, in civil engineering, again, I would say civil engineering has also got a lot of entrepreneurial space, right? You can pursue your own entrepreneurship. See, I don't know which year, Danish, which year are you in? Are you in final year?
Yes, sir. Final year.
Yeah, this is your 4-2 ongoing, right?
4-1.
So it will take 4-1, perfect. So you still have about 8 to 10 months to cover up to finish your engineering. So this is the best time that you can do. As a civil engineer, you can pursue entrepreneurship. During this time, you will be able to get real-time experience of what happens in the civil engineering space. Now, again, in civil engineering, what exactly that you want to go ahead with? Are you good with the designing perspective? Are you good with especially with the construction material? What are the new materials that are coming in? Right? There are a lot of different kind of aluminiums that are coming in the market. There are different kind of glasses that are coming into the market. So what do you want to go ahead with that? Or do you want to stick to the drawings and stuff? In drawings, what are the new innovations that are happening? Accordingly, then you can think about and proceed further. I think I have a lot of questions here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sorry to
just some
but
website.
dear participants, please stick to startup entrepreneurship related questions, because this seminar is based on that. And the seminar, the main topic of the seminar was to how a student can start their own company during the engineering times. So I think it will be better if you ask questions related to that instead of your engineering opportunities. We'll be having those seminars as well in the future, and there you can clear your questions. So I suggest please stick to the questions related to business and startups and entrepreneurship, and how to start your own company, how to work on an idea, how to solve a problem, how to sell your product. So please it will be better if you stick to those questions. Thank you.
Okay, so I see. If you need a startup leader, PR agenda for startup, to skill resources, team fund, etc. Okay, so I have this question about from Miss Nandini on what should be our agenda for startup in reference to skill resources, team funds, etc. So the agenda, if you are working on if you want to plan out your agenda of doing a startup, is first to have definitely your idea that you have, right? The funds and the team will definitely come at its appropriate time, and then you will have your skill resources. So once you have an idea, once you are solving a problem, let's say if you are solving a rental payment problem, or if you are solving any other problem, then you have to identify what are the pain points that you're solving, and then how you will be solving these pain points. Once this is done, how to solve will give you the skills resources that you want, right? Now in terms of skills, then accordingly you will build your team, right? So once you have the skill and the team, then the funds will come into the picture. So as I said, there is not a one statement, and I hope this answers your question. So what are your thoughts on computer languages like C++, job and career? Again, I think Abdul Rahman has said, as I think Mr. Osed has mentioned, that let's stick to the startup questions. But I would say whatever language that you're going for, no language is a very bad language. But yes, if you could focus more on the latest languages or the frameworks that are being worked, rather than the languages, I would strongly recommend focus on algorithms and data structures. So how to sell any product. There are many ways to sell a product, and that depends on the type of product that you have. So to sell any product, the first and foremost important thing is to draw a user persona. So what is a user persona, right? Let's say if you are selling a laptop. So accordingly, what you have to do is you have to define a user persona. Now, what would be a user persona for a person for a laptop, right? So you have to say, okay, gender can be both male and female. Okay, now this laptop, let's say, is a business machine, right? It is a very high-end laptop. So what you will do in a high-end laptop, since it's a business user, you will say it is for between 18 to 45-year-olds. And when you say, like, look at the configuration, this has got decent GPU, but very good memory space and SSD and stuff. So you will say, okay, this is not for gaming. So similarly, you will draw a user persona, and to sell your product to, right? So I think that is the user persona is something which you can Google about, and then it will be easier for you to sell. Is data science good in current situation? Brief answer. Brother, I don't know if I feel obliged to answer these questions since you guys are asking it. Data science, it's a lot of data is floating around. Data science is why it is not a good thing. Again, as I said, regardless of the field you are in, regardless of the engineering you are in, it's majorly about your skill set. It doesn't mean that you are gonna stay in metallurgy and you will be jobless. You're doing mechanical, you will be jobless. Computer science, you will be able to find a job. No, it's about adaptability. How quick learner you are, how adaptable you are to the changes in terms of your career, in terms of your skill set. And that's where your career will go. Even in the entrepreneurship, you have to be highly adaptable because the market demands keep fluctuating, keep changing. You have to hold the grip of your data. You have to make sure that you have the right metrics that you have. You have to make sure that you have the right metrics. You are following the right metrics, and make sure that you are able to achieve your targets based on those metrics. So some ideas to start up in civil engineering. Look around, brother. Danish. How do you generate? Okay, Nilofer Khan had asked. Okay, I think what is important to set up a company? Okay, what is important to set up a company? Before you set up a company, you make sure that you have an idea, you have a product, and then you can set up a company. And what is important nowadays, you have a lot of online platforms wherein you can get into and register your company. But before that, you make sure that the most important thing is the product. If you don't have a product, what you're going to sell from a company, right? So that is the most important part. What should be a minimum? What should be a minimum startup to start a business? I am unable to get your question. Sorry, Muhammad Aman. If you could ask again. How do you generate new ideas? Generation of the new ideas, I have some different ways. For me at least, there are two ways when I found that I am able to generate new ideas is when I take a walk. or when I'm using the public transport. So I think the best way is to look around, find the problems that you have. There's lot of problems around everybody in every space that you have, and catch one problem and find a solution for it. Or if you have a solution for a particular problem, that's how you have an idea. And there's a lot of ideas in the market. Ideas are easy, execution is tough. Please remember, ideas are super easy, but execution is tough, right? So you have to be realistic and determined for the execution. So there's some ideas to start up in civil engineering. I think again, as I said, I'm like, you have to, what about mechanical engineering career? Now, mechanical engineering career, again, if you are talking in terms of entrepreneurship, then there's a lot of things that is happening in terms of when you're talking about HVACs, the building systems, as I was mentioning to the civil guys, right? I think you can explore that as well for the mechanical engineering. Please tell us about your company. Okay, basically, I started my company in 2014. I registered back in India. We had the development center back in India, and Alhamdulillah, we were lucky enough to, or Alhamdulillah, we were able to bag a project from Do in Dubai, which is like the Airtel of India. And that was our first major project which we did. And then we came up with a product called YMR, You May Read. Basically, it was a mobile app. I think it was way back in 2015, when you are able to exchange books and sell books using the mobile app. And then we started with something called Kiraya Do. Then when demonetization happened, right, and people were finding it tough to make the payments with the cash, so we started something called Kiraya Do, which was more focused on NRI audience to collect their rents and from the directly, and the tenants to pay their rents using the credit card, which further grew into what we have right now is the real estate CRM, also called as their CRM, which we deal with a lot of property companies, property builders and developers, and property managers, realtors. And our primary market focus is obviously Qatar, and then we have few clients based out of UAE, Oman, and definitely India. That's more or less about our company. I think I have about 7 full-time devs and the team with me. And we are definitely hiring more, and always looking out for the freshers to join, because we prefer hiring freshers because they come up with fresh ideas, and we give more importance to freshers than the experienced guys, is because the freshers come up with a lot of fresh ideas, and they seem to be more passionate about doing things. And how can one keep himself updated on what's innovations are happening around him, and how should he cope up with those innovations in a new startup? So when one can keep updated on one part is there's a lot of data around you, right? You are always consuming data from the Twitter feed, from TechCrunch, from Facebook, from Instagram. So you have to make sure that you're following what is important for your startup or for your idea, or for the entrepreneurial journey that you are in, so that you have all the valid data for yourself. So best thing is, to stay updated is try to attend as many networking events as you can. And guys, please understand the importance of networking. It is very important. Learn the art of relationship building. Build relationships. This is very important and crucial for your entrepreneurial journey, or any journey for the matter of fact, right? Attend as many events as you can. Do networking and build relationships, be it anybody, regardless. Build as many relationships as you can. Talk to people, especially entrepreneurial events. Try to attend as many as you can. Now, since in this post-COVID era, you have the luxury to attend this from your home and from the comfort of your remote places, be it from a cafeteria or from your homes. So please do that, and that's how you can stay updated. So I think before selling a product, we should build a use of it. Obviously, that is called as an MVP, that you build a minimum viable product for your product. So when you are selling a product, you first sell a version 1, right, which is half-baked cake, right? And there is a very famous saying that goes that if you are not shy about your first version of your product, you have launched too late. So build up and launch your product. What's the difference between the startup, or before, I think was selling, okay, before startup and a business? See, you cannot. This you cannot theoretically differentiate between startup and a business, or the the major differentiation that you will see is startup is again you are doing in a business in a startup form wherein you are giving up your sweat and blood for it and then the money for it. Whereas if you are talking in terms of business, if you mean well-grown businesses, organizations, then they have a lot of diplomacies and bureaucracies to pass on one thing. Let's say if you want to take a leave in one organization, you have to take the approval of this manager and this manager. You have to push the code, like, it will pass from this to this and this to this, and then you will reach the final this thing. Whereas in startup, things happen at light speed. So that's the major difference. What activities would you recommend entrepreneurs to invest their time in? Skill development, product development, networking. These are the most important activities for entrepreneurs. So what is the best way to start a good life with business? So Zishan Malik, I think you have already started a good life getting into engineering, and now just start getting more ideas and building on top of it, and inshallah you will do good with business as well. Sir, minimum startup for UC student. Okay, minimum, I think this is the same question which Sheikh Navraz and Sheikh Safi has asked. Minimum capital to start a company. So you don't have to worry about the capital at this stage, right? When you are the era that you are in right now, right? If you have a good product, if you have a good idea, not even the product, if you have a good idea, go to these incubation centers. They will help you out in raising investments and raising the capital, if that is required to build your product. All you need is a good PPT, good presentation of your idea, and a validation that your product will succeed in the market, because this is the market size. Okay, so if I have completed successfully my entrepreneurs and employee. The employee, again, I think from the employee perspective, from the employees are tend, with all due respect to all the employees, is employees are given a framework to work upon, to think within that space and deliver for the businesses, whereas entrepreneurs are someone who take their own initiatives. They realize this is what is better for the product and this is what I should do. So it's much better to hire an entrepreneur than an employee for your company when you do startups, right? So if I have completed my IT engineering 4 years, this is the best way to choose either job or startup. That's the reason I am telling you, I think this is Mr. Safraz, is do a startup now while you are studying, and inshallah things will go ahead and you can continue with your startup and take it as a full-time entrepreneurship.
I think we can take 1 and 2 question, and then I think we'll end it because there are many questions, and the time is getting.
Can you do me a favor? Like these questions, can you just send me in the email so that I answer and revert back to you so that I don't miss any questions?
Sure, we'll do that. I'll send you the copies of the questions, and then you can send it to us, and I'll forward it to the audience.
I'll just answer the last question and
sure.
How to experience before starting job in civil engineering. Again, since this is more focused on entrepreneurship, I would say explore ideas that you can, solve problems in. What are the current problems in the civil engineering? Like there's a lot of times in civil, one of the major problems is the payment, release of the payments, right? From the contractor to the subcontractor. So maybe you are able to solve, you are able to make a new business process through which this payment process is resolved. The payment delays are resolved. Right, and that's how you can gain more experience and understand about your field of civil engineering. Okay, I think that is it for now. And thank you so much.
Yeah, it had been a wonderful and fantabulous session with you, and you answered many questions, and also the knowledge that you imparted about the entrepreneurship and everything else was just fantabulous. I'll just tell a little bit about myself to the audience so that will answer many of their questions related to entrepreneurship. Now, since I am a third year EC student, I am from Shadan, Asap, so I have started actually my own startup called the For Her Safety. And now, since the speaker, Mr. Sad, had mentioned about Adventure Park, So I have my startup incubated at Adventure Park actually. So there were many questions which I thought no my story would answer it. See, at Adventure Park, what what they do is you just have to come up with an idea and present and show that you have got the fire to execute your idea, and they'll just incubate you. Incubate as in they will take you into their cohorts. Now from there they'll build your company along you. They'll tell you what's your mission, what should be your vision of the company, how to make your model, how to make your prototype, how to make the MVP, how to enter the market, how to do digital marketing. So all of those things are taught at Adventure Park, and that is free of cost. So they won't charge you anything for these services. Adventure Park is built for the students so that all the entrepreneurship journeys that the students are trying to pursue, that will be fulfilled at Adventure Park. So next, we'll be having a session with the Mr. Miraj himself, the founder of Adventure Park. In the next coming few days, we will be having an intimation about it. So there, we can also clear all those entrepreneurship questions too. And inshallah, we'll be starting our e-cell in our college, that is the entrepreneurship cell. And we'll be having our own companies, inshallah, starting soon in college. So please stay tuned for that. And we'll be having. And I'd like to, special thanks to our speaker who, took out some valuable time. And he's from Qatar. And he's there and he gave us the time here at Shadan. So thank you very much, Mr. Saad. And, giving us your time. I know you were between the meetings and I had, asked him to, come here and join us. And he's like, I'll try. And then he, took out his time and, give. So thanks a lot. Thanks very much, Mr. Saad. So I think this is your cue. And best of luck, and hopefully best of luck to all the audiences who wants to start an entrepreneurship journey. So that's great. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It means a
Thank
lot,
you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for guiding us.
Thank you, sir, for guiding us.
Thank you very
Guys,
much,
I'm
sir, for
giving-
guiding us in the right way.
Thank you, sir,
I'll
for
be giving it
Thank you for the motivation.
Thank you, sir, for the
you can ask questions directly to my email. And please, guys, we'll be having another session on with the Adventure Park. That is like gold for students who want to start. Students asked what is the funding that is required. See, you don't need any single rupee to start your business. You have an idea, you have a laptop, you work on it, you skills, you utilize it, and then you start. So that is the beauty of Adventure Park. So we'll be bringing them soon to our college. So since not only me, my classmates have also started their own company called as Active C. They are working on filter bags, purifiers. So you just need to come up with an idea and then you can start your own company. So that's the beauty of Adventure Park. So please stay tuned for that. We'll be having a session soon on that. Please, try to, think about the ideas, come up with your ideas, think, innovative ideas and every single thing. And then you can present it there. And then inshallah, we'll be starting our own entrepreneurship cell in a college. Thank you guys for joining.
Nice to hear you.
Your field, sir?
I'm third year EC student.
Okay. No. I was thinking that you are from CSC, I thought.
No, it's EC third year from electronics communication.
First year only, sir.
Okay, first year students. First year, like you'll be having an excellent opportunity. You've joined Shadan, and now we are starting our entrepreneurship cell. So you'll be the first ones to start your own company and run in first year itself. And that is actually a huge feat on your side. I'll be there at every step of the journey, and since being
Adventure Park, NMDC.
entrepreneurship. Yes, Mr. Bilal. You're saying something?
Adventure Park, where it is?
Yeah, it's located at Masab Tank.
Masab
I'll
Tank,
give you
yes.
share the details through our HOD.
Yes, I have visited.
Okay, you have visited. So I think the culture there, the environment. How is it?
Actually, my brother, Muhammad Zaki, Munibullah Zaki.
Cool. So we'll be getting that inshallah to our college. So guys, first year guys, please stay tuned. Don't lose the fire that we have got now from the motivation. Think on the ideas.
Excuse me, sir, I'm from first year.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you tell what are the more features that Shadan offers?
The more features that Shadan offers, like it's an engineering college. You won't be having features per se, but you'll be having the different amenities that we got here, right? We've got labs, We have got, excellent faculty, and also we've got different clubs. We have got this called the Student Council Club, where we have 4 different clubs. That is